for this presentation was also tell you guys a little bit about my personal story, because and just draw some lessons in there. So on the left you have my professional. This is stuff that I was doing like 9 to 5, because we all know there's no such thing as a 9 to 5, and this is stuff that I was doing in parallel. So in 2003, I dropped out of AFDA. I was in AFDA, I was a film student, and during my final year, my father passed away. And I didn't handle it well emotionally, and I just couldn't complete the year due just personal psychological reasons. I was just super depressed and really heartbroken at his passing. It was very unexpected, and I just was not able to complete my studies. And then in the beginning of 2004, I was like, okay, cool. I shook a lot of that off, thanks to the help of an incredibly supportive family and friends. And then I did a course in business administration at Varsity College. Once I completed that, I had very, very humble beginnings. I got a job as a receptionist at a design and animation studio called Masters and Savant. And while I was there, I decided to complete my degree from AFDA, which was a Bachelor in Motion Picture, majoring in producing. The following year, I graduated from AFDA, and I was immediately promoted to the production office, and I became production assistant at Masters and Savant. What was really great about this career opportunity was the fact that it was a small agency, and small agencies can be very personal. So I had an opportunity to really talk quite openly to the MDs about what I wanted for my life, my personal struggles. And really, these are individuals who took a personal liking to me and were really invested and kind of motivated me to finish my degree and so on and so forth. And then when they launched the Cape Town branch, I asked to move there. And then because that agency was even smaller, I was pretty much thrown in the deep end, and in the space of two to 3 years had really grown from a production assistant to just a mid-level producer, which is quite a feat for anyone who actually understands the implications of that. But while I was in Cape Town, I completed a course in project management. So at this stage, I'd completed a course in business administration. I got my bachelor's in motion picture at AFDA, and now had completed a course in project management at Varsity College again. I moved back to Masters in Savant, Johannesburg, as a fully fledged producer, and then 2 years later left that company to join Tennant McKay as executive producer. I was there for a year when the job, or what I thought was the job of my dreams, was offered to me, which was head of local interest channels for Clearwater. And this is basically where I got to produce work for channels like Vuzu, Vuzu App, Channel O, and Mzansi Magic, which was a really inspiring time for me. Just being that close to original content really sparked a fire in me in terms of look at what other people are creating. What could I potentially create for myself in the future, And then in 2013, I get an amazing opportunity to join a storytelling agency, which is TNW, as head of production. This is where I really spent a lot of my time evolving, getting to know myself, being pushed further than I ever imagined I would ever go, professionally, emotionally, and physically. And really went from head of production and became 3 years later, business unit director, just managing accounts like DSTV, Supersport, and ABSA. And then in 2017, I was offered the position as MD for the agency. And you'll see that later that same year, I started my own. In parallel to all of this, particularly between the years of 2008 and 2017, I was also moonlighting. And I wasn't moonlighting because of money or anything like that. I was really moonlighting because of my passions. I wasn't fully fulfilled with the type of work that I was doing, but I was always transparent with my directors as to this is the stuff that I'm doing on the side. I promise you they won't affect what I do for you. And I don't think that I lied because till this day, I'm friends with most of my past MDs and creative directors. So I was hired as a festival director for a poetry and music festival. I hosted 2 of these festivals at the baseline, so it was for a couple of 100,000 people. A little later on, I co-founded what would really catapult my public persona, if you will. I've co-founded the monthly brunch come day party for Weekend Social. And this started really because we felt like there was something missing from the Johannesburg scene. If you're old enough to remember, in 2012, the only thing Johannesburg offered you at that time was nighttime life. The only real city that offered like a nuance of culture and like alternative lifestyle, scenes was Cape Town. That's what Cape Town was renowned for. Cape Town was renowned for dining experiences. It was renowned for doing different types of things. And we were really inspired by Cape Town and some of the things that we had seen from our own travels and created this entity. I hosted these events for close to 4 years, and I left the group and left the platform and decided, and this for me was like those 4 years of doing the Weekend Social really changed something in me. Like I started to get to know myself, what truly made me happy. And I would say this is when I clearly could feel myself going towards like a T-junction. I knew as a result of the Weekend Social, I was going to get to a point where I would have to make a choice between what you see on the left and what you eventually see on the right. Then hosted my own solo events and so on, partnered with Fixing Diaries and Ladies Brunch. I co-founded Bloom, and I launched Feel Good Series and Film Noir. And like I said, later, 2017, I became MD of Mamakashaka.